At the beginning of the story, the air is thick with fear, and the sound of frantic footsteps echo through the dark woods. Two men are running, their breaths ragged and their eyes wide with terror. One of them clutches a wooden stick tightly in his hand, not just any stick, but something that seems to carry a strange weight, a hidden power. He pulls his friend along, urging him to stay quiet. They duck behind the trees, their hearts pounding. For a moment, silence. The man exhales shakily and whispers, "Brother, we can't escape this monster." His friend, trembling, replies, "Maybe we can use the box." But the first man shakes his head fiercely. "No, never." Just then, a deep, unnatural growl pierces the night. The ground trembles. The two men look at each other, their terror renewed, and take off running again. The forest seems endless, but the monster is faster. A shadow looms over them. A horrifying roar tears through the darkness, and the stick slips from the man's hand, hitting the ground with a dull thud. A moment later, a monstrous clawed hand emerges from the darkness and picks it up. The scene fades, and morning light fills a small Australian suburb. We see Zoe, a young girl staring blankly out her window. She has just moved here with her father after her mother's death. The grief sits heavily in her eyes. Once, she was close to her mother, but years of distance and silence had created a rift between them. Now, it's too late. She watches her old friends laughing together on a video call, their voices full of life. Her smile falters. She feels left out, adrift in a new country, a stranger in her own story. The next day, Zoe's college organizes a field trip to a special museum, one known for its mysterious artifacts and ancient legends. Their teacher announces proudly, "This museum holds the legacy of the elementalists, people who once claimed to possess magical powers, drawn from the sacred tree of knowledge." The students exchange curious glances. But one day, the teacher continues dramatically, "A wicked witch attacked them all." From the back of the group, a boy named Aviar chuckles and raises his hand. "Yes, ma'am. I was there too," he jokes. The entire class bursts into laughter, breaking the tension. On the bus ride to the museum, Zoe sits quietly beside Owen, a boy known for his intelligence and his inability to stop talking. He keeps chattering endlessly until a girl with striking purple hair, Kelly, turns around, her glare sharp enough to cut glass. "Shut up, you bastard, or I'll break your teeth." The bus falls silent for a moment. Owen freezes. Then, as soon as she turns around, he grins sheepishly, and Zoe can't help but laugh. When they arrive, they are greeted by Dr. Rosen, the museum's manager, a woman with an air of mystery. She begins explaining the history of the place, but Zoe's attention drifts, and so does Owen's. They wander away, exploring. Their eyes fall upon a display, and there it is, the same stick from the opening scene. Old, yet pulsing faintly, with something alive. Owen leans closer. "Weird engravings," he mutters. As his fingers hover near it, the carvings suddenly begin to glow with a bluish light. The glass case rattles, and then, impossibly, the stick slides out on its own. Joey, another boy from the group, catches it instinctively. The marks flare brighter, and identical glowing symbols appear on the hands of everyone standing near him. At that exact moment, Dr. Rosen rushes over. "What have you done?" she gasps. The students panic, talking over each other. "He touched it." "No, I didn't. It just moved." But Dr. Rosen doesn't scold them. Her face is pale. "Come with me," she says urgently. "Now." They follow her into her office, a room filled with strange ancient objects, crystals, scrolls, and maps. Joey finally asks, "Dr. Rosen, what's going on?" The woman doesn't answer immediately. She's pacing, muttering to herself. "It shouldn't have happened. The case was unbreakable." "It's like magic," Owen says quietly. Dr. Rosen stops. "Magic? Perhaps. That stick was made from the tree of knowledge, the same tree that once gave the elementalists their power. Some say it can act as a wand." The students stare in disbelief. Owen, still curious, asks, "Where did it come from?" "It was found about 100 years ago," Dr. Rosen explains, "but everyone who studied it disappeared. The stick has been silent ever since. It has never glowed. Until today." Caitlin, one of the girls, speaks up hesitantly. "But why are the same marks appearing on us?" Dr. Rosen doesn't answer. Instead, she opens a drawer and reveals a small black cube, smooth and ominous. "This," she says, "was found near the same pole. If the stick reacted to your touch, this might too." She instructs them to touch it one by one. Each student does, and as their fingers make contact, they feel a sudden numbness, like time freezing around them. Only Joey hesitates. Something inside him screams not to, but then, he hears a voice. A familiar, gentle voice, whispering from inside the cube, his mother's voice. "Joey, come to me." His hand trembles, and he touches it. Instantly, the world around them shatters. The museum dissolves into a swirl of light and wind, and then darkness. When they open their eyes, they are lying in a vast desert. The sun blazes overhead. Kelly panics, shouting, "Where are we?" Caitlin glares at Dr. Rosen. "This is your fault. What did you do to us?" Before an argument can erupt, Owen raises a hand. "Wait, do you hear that?" Faintly, from the distance, comes the sound of music. Strange and haunting. Dr. Rosen squints toward the horizon. "Let's go. We won't survive here for long." They begin walking, silent and wary. Eventually, they reach a dense forest at the desert's edge. There, sitting under a massive tree, they find an old man, covered head to toe in damp moss and fungus. At first, they think he's dead, but suddenly, his eyes open, his voice cracks through the air. Has the good time come? The children exchange puzzled glances. Time for what? The old man's gaze softens as he looks directly at Zoe. Daughter of the earth, he murmurs. You are all connected, like the 5 elements of this world. But beware, the beast does not forgive strangers. If you reveal your true selves, it will not harm you. A deep roar shakes the ground, sending chills down their spines. The beast! Caitlin cries. The man, Madruk, raises his hand weakly. Show him who you are. Only then will he let you go. Dr. Rosen's voice cuts through the chaos. Run! They scatter into the woods as the monstrous roar grows louder. Behind them, Madruk's fading voice echoes. Show your true form. Only then will you survive. Dr. Rosen takes a different path, glancing over her shoulder as the beast charges after her. A powerful blow sends her crashing to the ground. Darkness. Elsewhere, the others keep running. Caitlin trips, heading straight toward a massive tree. Joey grabs her hand just in time, pulling her to safety, but the beast is upon them. Just as it's about to strike, Joey vanishes, sucked straight into the tree itself. When he opens his eyes, he's lying before Madruk again. How did you do that? He gasps. Madruk smiles faintly. All trees are one. The forest hides those it favors. Meanwhile, Dr. Rosen wakes up. She hears giggling, high-pitched, eerie laughter, then a sharp poke in her ear. She jerks up, horrified. Goblins surround her, and in that moment, the truth unfolds. Dr. Rosen is the same witch from the ancient story. Her eyes darken. Enough games, she hisses to the goblins. Drive those children deeper into the forest. They must find the other half of the stick. Back with Joey, Madruk explains the truth. The tree of knowledge is sacred. The witch was once its guardian, but greed consumed her. She sought to own the tree's power, to rule the world. We elementalists fought her, sealing her away, but she still seeks to return. He tells Zoe that the stick is only half of a wand. You must find the remaining parts and reunite them. Only then can we stop her. He gives her directions. Seek the place where darkness is deepest. There you will find the way. Before she leaves, he warns softly, you carry the witch's scent. Wash it away, or the beast will find you. Zoe covers herself in mud and sets off through the forest. Meanwhile, her friends decipher strange markings carved into a stone wall. Kelly points out the drawings. It looks like water, air, and a tree. Owen's eyes widen. The 5 elements. We have to unite them. Zoe finally reunites with the group, but the beast is close. Dr. Rosen appears from the shadows and pulls Zoe down just in time. Joey hugs her, relieved, and tells her everything Madruk revealed. He said a witch wants to steal the tree's power. Dr. Rosen's expression twists with fury. That old fool lied to you. I am that witch. But not as you think. I want to use the tree's power to heal this world, to make things right again. That's why I brought you here. Joey steps back, uncertain, torn between belief and fear. Dr. Rosen gestures toward the forest. Your friends are waiting. Go. But remember, only I can protect you. Joey runs to the others. Together, they gather before the stone wall, covered in glowing sigils. We have to do this together, Joey says firmly. They all place their hands on the wall. The symbols blaze with light, and the gate opens. They step through, emerging into a lush, glowing woodland. There, Joey looks at his friends and whispers. Madruk said the stick isn't whole. The witch's spirit. It's inside all of us. The wind rustles through the trees, carrying a faint whisper, half warning, half promise, as the story's true mystery begins to unfold. It was coming. The sky grew darker, and the air around them began to tremble. Joey's heart pounded as Madruk's warning echoed in her mind. The beast will return when the time comes. Panic spread among them. It's that creature again, Owen cried, his voice cracking with fear. It's coming for us. Joey turned to everyone, her voice steady despite the chaos. Madruk said the beast can track us by scent. We need to cover ourselves. Now! Use the mud! They hurriedly scooped up handfuls of wet earth, smearing it across their arms and faces. What began as an act of survival slowly turned playful. Owen tossed a clump of mud at Kelly, who gasped in outrage before launching one back at him. Laughter broke through their fear, echoing through the forest. For a fleeting moment, they were just kids again, covered in mud, laughing despite the terror surrounding them. The laughter stopped abruptly when Joey's ears caught a soft, broken sound. Someone crying. Wait, she said, raising her hand. The others fell silent. The sobbing came from behind a tree. They approached cautiously and found a tiny fairy, her delicate wings torn and glimmering faintly in the dim light. She looked terrified. Joey knelt beside her and gently cupped her in her hands. You're hurt, she whispered. Closing her eyes, Joey focused her energy. The marks on her hand began to glow softly. Warm light surrounded the fairy's wounds, and within seconds, her wings shimmered back to life. The fairy looked up, astonished, then smiled and darted into the sky, leaving behind a faint trail of golden dust. Joey stood up. We need to find the other part of the stick, she said, determination in her voice. That's the only way to save this world. They walked for hours, crossing rivers and thick forests until they reached a strange place, a crossroads, where countless paths stretched in every direction. The air was unnervingly still. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the shadows, cloaked in dark robes. His face was hidden, his voice deep and hollow. I am the keeper of this place, he said. No one passes without my permission. His eyes glowed faintly beneath his hood. I know who you are, all of you. Then, with a flick of his hand, Owen and Aviar were thrust backward and vanished into thin air. I don't like their faces, the keeper muttered coldly. Kelly stepped forward. Wait! Maybe we can make a deal. But before she could finish, she and Caitlin disappeared too, swallowed by the mist. Now only Zoe remained, the keeper's gaze fixed on her. What will you offer me, child? Zoe hesitated, then took off her bracelet, the one her mother had given her before she died. This is the last memory I have of her, she said softly. Let me go forward. The keeper paused. He could see her sincerity, the pure heart behind her trembling voice. Slowly, he nodded and opened a glowing gate, but fate played its cruel trick. The gate he opened led not to the magical tree, but to Haywire, a cursed realm of ice and storms. Zoe stepped through, and instantly she was surrounded by snow. The cold bit into her skin, and she wrapped her arms around herself, shivering, whispering, "Where is everyone?" Her breath formed clouds in the frozen air, and loneliness settled around her like frost. Elsewhere, Caitlin and Kelly were transported to another forest, dark, twisting, and full of whispers. There, they met a strange creature called the Unweaver, who spoke in riddles. I can show you where your friends are, he said, his voice like silk and smoke. Meanwhile, the witch appeared before Joey again, not in the flesh, but as a projection shimmering in the air. Well done, she said, smiling darkly. You're on the right path, Joey frowned. How are you here? I'm not, the witch replied. I'm merely thinking of you. Her eyes gleamed. You need me, Joey. Help me, and we can end this chaos. Before Joey could answer, Javier arrived, and the witch's image vanished like smoke. Joey was shaken, her mind clouded with doubt. Javier steadied her and led her to a luminous creature known as the Weaver, who was creating trees out of thin air, her hands weaving roots and branches like threads in a tapestry. Soon, Caitlin and Kelly arrived with the Weaver's husband, the Unweaver. Together, the couple invited the children into their home, an enormous glowing cocoon nestled among ancient roots. Eat, said Mrs. Weaver warmly. You've traveled far. As they ate, Joey said quietly, one of our friends is still lost. Mrs. Weaver raised her glowing hand, and a vision appeared, a boy surrounded by glowing symbols. It was Owen, studying a wall covered in ancient carvings. Kelly leaned forward. That's the same pattern from before. It says, a path through darkness leads to the box containing the rest of the wand. Excitement filled the room. But then Joey, half joking, snatched a piece of food from Mr. Unweaver's plate. You could help us reach that magical stomach of yours too, right? Mr. Unweaver's eyes turned red with fury. You dare mock me! He lunged at Joey, teeth bared. Joey ducked, and his attack shattered part of the Weaver's magical portal. Kelly grabbed the broken fragment, while Caitlin pulled Owen through the flickering gate. In chaos, they escaped, running until the Weaver's world faded behind them. Outside, the witch was trying to break in. She hurled spell after spell at the barrier, her screams echoing across realms, but it held strong. Exhausted, Joey sank to the ground. We'll never get out of here, she whispered. The earth beneath her trembled, cracks spread, and a deep, hollow voice echoed. Below lies the darkness. Go there. Remember the old man's words. To reach the tree, you must go into the dark. It was Madrick's voice. Joey looked at her friends. We have no choice. One by one, they stepped into the chasm below, swallowed by shadow. Inside was pure darkness, alive and suffocating. It whispered their deepest fears. Caitlin saw visions of failure, her dreams crumbling, her family turning away. But she clenched her fists, remembering Madrick's faith in her, and faced the fear head on. Kelly confronted her rage, Owen his guilt, and Joey, her grief. She saw her mother again, smiling softly, fading away. Tears streamed down Joey's face. I'm not afraid anymore, she whispered. I'll carry your love, not your pain. The darkness shattered. A brilliant light appeared before them, a glowing portal. Together, they stepped through and emerged into a serene forest, bathed in morning light. The air smelled of rain and new life. They had survived. They were stronger now. Not far ahead, they found the box Kelly had read about. This is it, Owen said. They joined hands, and the box slowly opened, but inside, there was nothing. Empty. Fury erupted in Joey's chest. All this, for nothing, she shouted. Then, Caitlin gasped. A shadow twisted behind Joey, rising like smoke until it formed the witch's shape. The others froze when they saw her face. It was Dr. Roshan. Dr. Roshan? Kelly whispered. The witch smiled. You see now? I told you. I can fix everything. Your pain, your losses, your world. The last piece of the stick will take me to the tree of knowledge. Kelly stepped forward. You're lying. She raised the broken portal piece and summoned the guardian beast, the same terrifying creature that had chased them from the start. With a roar that shook the heavens, the beast attacked the witch. As they clashed, the others seized the moment to escape through the portal. They ran until the forest trembled again, the beast's furious cries echoing behind them. Then, out of nowhere, a soft light descended, the fairy Joey had saved earlier. Joey, she said gently. The keeper is made of earth. You can calm him. Use your gift. Joey nodded. She stepped forward, placing her hand on the ground. The marks on her skin glowed brighter than ever, spreading warmth through the earth. Slowly, the keeper's rage subsided. He knelt, calm once more. Something glimmered inside his chest. Joey reached in and pulled out a glowing shard. It was the upper part of the wand, but the magic drained her strength. Joey collapsed, fainting. Her friends rushed to her side. Moments later, the witch reappeared, her eyes blazing with fury. Give it to me, she screamed. When Owen and Caitlin refused, she struck them with lightning. Their screams pierced the air. Joey stirred weakly, saw her friends in pain, and lifted the wand piece. "Stop!" she cried. "I'll give it to you. Just don't hurt them." Smiling coldly, the witch combined the wand's two halves and dragged Joey by her hair toward the tree of knowledge. There, beneath its ancient branches, sat Madruk. "So," he said softly, "you've returned." The witch's eyes burned. "I've come to take what's mine." "Then," Madruk said, "you'll have to go through me first." With a single burst of dark power, she struck him down. Joey fell to her knees, sobbing, trying to heal him, but Madruk smiled weakly. "Don't forget, child. All trees are connected." And with that, he was gone. The witch turned to Joey. "Attach the wand to the tree. Now." Joey's eyes filled with tears, but defiance burned in them too. "No." She drove the wand into the ground and unleashed her power. The tree cracked, splitting apart as a surge of light and energy erupted. The witch screamed as she was drawn into the collapsing core, vanishing in a blinding explosion. When the dust settled, Joey gathered her trembling friends. "Put your hands on the ground," she said softly. "We can bring it back." They knelt together, their hands pressing into the earth. The marks on their skin glowed as one. From the ashes of the fallen tree, a single green sprout emerged, small but alive. The witch was gone. The tree was reborn. They had saved the world. As sunlight broke through the clouds, Joey looked at her friends and smiled through her tears. They were more than survivors now. They were family. And somewhere in the wind, Madruk's voice whispered, "Well done, daughter of the earth." If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more cinematic tales.